Hey language learners, welcome back to the channel. My name's Matthew Boyle. My target language is Mandarin. I've studied Mandarin off and on for over 10 years. And I'm using that term off and on advisedly because I haven't always been the most consistent person. I've had to change and go through different cycles and different phases of life. I mean, I never really gave it up totally. I never totally fell off the bandwagon, so to speak. But I realized that I had a long way to go in terms of improving my own consistency, but now I believe I'm in a position where I can share advice to others and potentially help you to be more consistent. I know it's super frustrating. This is a perennial issue, a very important issue in the language learning community, is how can I be more consistent? A lot of people are able to get started learning their target language because the beginning is easy. The beginning is super fun, it's super stimulating. You're setting off down an all new path, but then a few months later, it sort of falls away and you're left feeling like you have to start over from the beginning again. That feeling of, spinning your wheels, never getting traction is super frustrating. I mean, if you want to acquire a language and be able to command it, then you have to be in it for the long game. You have to have this sort of a lifestyle change that is never going to go away and you're never going to stop, because that's what it takes to really have that language in your bones, in your DNA. So I'm going to give you 6 general tips today to improve your consistency, which will lead you to greater efficiency and better results. And then after that, I'm going to give you 3 solutions or services that I personally can offer to you if you want to work with me. Okay, the tips about consistency. Number 1, before you really even get into your target language too deeply, or maybe even now if you're already in it, you can still do this, but you need to reflect. Reflect on why do you want to become a language learner and why this particular language. Sometimes people, they're kind of like shooting themselves in the foot from the very beginning because they're getting into learning a particular language for the wrong reasons. And so when you haven't really analyzed why you're doing something, your interest won't last. So if you really want to get into language learning, make sure you understand why. Make sure you've attached to some really good emotional motivators that are going to hold up over time. And if you're already in the language learning and you're having some trouble with this, you can still reflect and make some adjustment on those emotional motivators. Sometimes we need to find deeper, better emotional motivators and attach to those, journal on those, and that can help you a lot. Number 2, start small with your better, more consistent habits. Starting small is okay. The point is to work on the consistency, not necessarily the duration of time at first. And one way that you can start small more effectively is to try to attach your language learning habits to other habits that you already have going on in your life, which are good. So think about times of day that would work well and other sorts of habits that would pair well. For example, if you're an early riser and you like to have time in the morning to yourself to have a cup of coffee and think about your day, that might be a time where you can put in 10 minutes of flashcard review, or 10 minutes of Duolingo, or 10 minutes of a YouTube video. That's your morning coffee habit. You can try to attach your new language learning habit to that. Maybe you can attach it to tea time in the afternoon. Maybe you can attach it to your jogs or your walks where you're listening to something. Maybe you prefer something in the nighttime. Maybe there's things that you do, like I went through a phase where I really wanted to watch my favorite TV shows in the evening. I trained myself to do a bit of language learning first and then do the entertainment TV show as my reward. So those hook together really well because I felt like I was developing this positive cycle where I do the work, the learning first, and then I reward myself. Altogether, it was about 40 minutes in the evenings to do both of these things. Number 3, if you do miss, tell yourself the most important thing is to get back on. Don't beat yourself up saying, oh, I'll never get consistent. I'm never going to be able to achieve this. I'm just not the kind of person. This is super hard. Don't go down that negative road and start missing more and more days to the point where you are gone. And it's super hard to get back on. Instead, tell yourself, yeah, I missed a day, but I can start again today. I can pull out my book or my flashcards or watch another YouTube video today. I can get back on course. That, I think, is a major key to the most consistent people, is if they do miss, they don't pull their hair out about it and they don't go negative about it. They just get back on the path. Coming back to the path over and over is something that can build consistency. So realize that. Number 4, reward yourself. If you've been consistent, let's say being consistent for a week is really hard for you. Then at the end of the week, celebrate. Let's say that being consistent for a month is your latest, greatest challenge, and you achieve it. Well then, at the end of the month, celebrate. Get a close friend of yours who would value what you're trying to do and say, hey, I want to go out to eat with you and celebrate something that I achieved. And at the same time, we can talk about your progress and your achievements, and we can develop this upward spiral together. I also think it can be good if, it doesn't necessarily have to be so, but it can be good if you reward yourself with something related to your language learning goal. That, invest into your language learning, invest into your habit formation, reward yourself with something that is fueling new growth. So get a new textbook related to the language you're after, or sign up for a class, or, I don't know, buy some other resource. Reward yourself, invest in yourself. That's how you tell yourself that you matter and your goals matter. Number 5, regularly tune into someone who's more consistent than you are. So social media is a blessing in the sense that we can find people who are learning the same language we want to learn, who are much more consistent than we are, who are regularly putting out content and offering to be tutors and teachers. I mean, that is wonderful. You can really find someone whose personality you like on the internet, whose consistency you like, and then just subscribe to them, follow them, regularly tune into them so that their mindset permeates your mindset and you start to change from the inside out. Number 6, similar to the last one but different, make sure you're hanging out with the right people. Make sure you're in the right kind of environment, an environment that tends to lift you up rather than knock you down. Find an accountability group, people, if they're not after the same target language than you are, that's okay, but it would be ideal if it's people who are after the same target language you are. So try to find people who are after the same target language. If not, next step down, try to find people who are consistent language learners. If you can't find that, next step down, try to find people who are consistent about learning in general, who are positive people. Maybe you can have group study sessions somewhere, be it online in a live room or at a local library or something, but just get around the right people. A lot of people, the reason why they have trouble to develop consistency is because they are trying, but it's other people or other issues in their environment that are knocking them down or holding them back, making them feel discouraged. So look at that issue as well. Okay, these are the 6 things I mentioned in summary. Reflect on your motivations. Start small and combine this new habit with other habits that you already have in place. Number 3, if you miss, just tell yourself, I can get back on. Number 4, reward yourself. Number 5, absorb regularly positive content from someone who is consistent about language learning, someone you admire. Number 6, make sure that the people around you are helpful and right for you, and the environment around you is helpful to you and right for you. And if not, you might need to make some changes there. Okay, I hope this is helping. I'm about to get into my 3 tips for how I personally can help you. But if you've enjoyed this video so far and you've derived value from it, I hope you'll give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment down below so we can start the conversation. Now here's 3 ways that I personally can help you. Number 1, I'm trying to be as consistent as I can at my current level with YouTube in terms of motivational content and language learning content. I've been putting out 3 long-form videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a few months now. Before that, I often made videos, but I didn't make them so much and so regularly as I am now. So I'm doing 3 long forms per week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm doing a daily short. And most of my content relates to language learning, personal development and motivation, language gaming, and also my life in China, because I'm an American, but I moved to China in 2011. I've lived here ever since, so sharing something about my life in China is also there. So you can follow me and absorb my content. Number 2, I'm happy to be your coach and your accountability partner in terms of setting better habits, becoming more consistent, learning potentially any language that you want to learn. I can help with that over email or on coaching calls. And third, you can join our gaming groups, which are totally free. Every Saturday we're gaming online in a different language every week. We have regular groups right now for Japanese, Mandarin, Spanish, and Turkish. From time to time we organize events for other languages. If you have a language that I didn't mention just now, we can potentially form a gaming group for that. And what we do in these gaming groups is essentially we play cards. The cards have different topics. We get around the table and we help each other to speak about the topics. And we often have a high-level speaker of the language or a native speaker of the language in the room with us. So it's a great form of enrichment and motivation. Should that be your only tool, your only method to learn your language? No, I'm not suggesting it should, but it can be a part of your overall strategy, your overall approach. Okay, so those are the 3 ways that I personally can help you. You can tune into my content, which I'm putting out regularly. You can be coached by me, and you also can join our gaming groups that we have going on every Saturday. You can also go to visit my site, languagecardgames.com. Maybe you want to buy some of those resources. I have printable games, I have virtual games, and I have professionally printed game decks, which I ship all over the world. I've shipped hundreds of decks around the world to over 20 different countries since 2016. Again, my games, I don't really recommend them as the only thing that you do. I think they should be an enrichment tool and a part of your overall strategy. Okay, I hope this video helped you today. Again, leave me a comment down below. I'd love to chat about your target language, what your goals are, and I can give you some advice there too with how to help you. But let's lift each other up. If we try to be consistent together, and if we communicate to each other, our consistency can grow stronger. It really helps to have other people who are trying to develop the same mindset that you want to, and we just walk this language learning journey together. It makes it so much grander and so much more memorable. Okay, that's it for today's video. I hope to see you back here next time. Bye-bye for now.